Hey class, I want to briefly go over a description of conduct problems and distinguish between what we call oppositional defiant disorder and conduct disorder, so that's clear for you. In general, disruptive behaviors are pretty common at different stages of development, and clinicians commonly hear complaints of aggressive and antisocial behavior. In fact, that's a lot of times why children get referred to psychologists and clinicians, etc. And parents and teachers often describe young children who don't comply with rules and requests or who seem irritable and angry. So, for instance, we might refer a preschool child who's hitting his classmates or kicking his classmates, biting other children, and then this can morph into various forms of aggression, bullying as the child gets older. And then perhaps by the time they're in adolescence, they're engaging in some risky behavior, illegal drug use, things like that. The fact that these problems are common makes them a topic of concern for parents and those who work with young children and adolescents. So children with extreme conduct problems often come from situations where abuse is present, where there's neglect, sometimes very impoverished homes, or perhaps they've been exposed to a lifetime of crime. And while they may be the cause of the child's disruptive behaviors, in some cases we might argue that their behaviors are really a way of survival. It's an adaptation to what's happening in their homes or in their neighborhoods, etc. So let's look at the DSM-5 defining features of ODD. So ODD is oppositional defiant disorder, and this is characterized by a pattern of persistent, angry, and irritable mood along with defiant or vindictive behavior. So there are four symptoms that we look for. We look for angry or irritable mood. So for instance, a child losing their temper, being easily angered by others, acting angry and resentful. So there seems to be an issue with their ability to regulate emotion. The second symptom we look for is argumentative or defiant behavior. So arguing with adults, defying adult requests, perhaps deliberately annoying others, blaming others for something he or she did wrong. So again, this shows some difficulty regulating their overt actions. And then the third symptom is vindictiveness. So acting spiteful, seeking revenge. So clearly problems controlling both emotions and behavior. Now let it be known that most children do show oppositional or defiant behaviors from time to time. The terrible twos are not called the terrible twos for no reason. But again, we're looking at more the extreme manifestations of these behaviors. And for conduct disorder, the symptoms are a little more extreme. It represents more of a aggressive and antisocial disorder. But the essential feature of conduct disorder is a repetitive and a persistent pattern of behavior that basically violates the basic rights of other people or violates some age-appropriate social norms. And there are about 15 criteria that the DSM-5 uses to define this disorder, but we basically group these symptoms into four different categories. One is aggression to people and animals. Two is destruction of property. Three is deceitfulness or theft. And four are serious violations of rules. So for instance, staying out all night despite a parental curfew, running away from home, truancy, which is, skipping school, etc. So as you see, children with ODD and conduct disorder do show the same pattern of defiance, of oppositional behavior, of disrespect towards adults. However, children with ODD typically don't show physical aggressiveness to other people and animals. They do not deliberately destroy property, or they infrequently engage in theft. So that's that.